finally broke the streak of 5 losing Mondays in a row. Let's see how we did it. All right, guys, welcome back. Trading Futures Live. Got my Edge Wonk up, my trading journal, edgewonk.app. It's like $150 for the year. This is where we journal and we keep our trades if you're maybe new to the channel. And so you'll see here August 22nd, green day. You'll see here the evaluation so far on the week. We got monthly and we got overall. But if we go ahead and take a look at the week, 1 winner, 0 losers. It's obviously a Monday, August 22nd, 2022. And 1 winner, 0 losers. Nice way to start off the week. I've had a terrible streak of Mondays, 3 losing Mondays in a row in August, plus an additional 2 in a row back in July. So happy to break that frickin' streak, which has been somewhat annoying. They haven't been terrible days. Some of them have only been a few dollars here and there, basically break-even days, but minus $20 is still minus $20, and so, again, glad to be positive. You'll see $411, 1.4R. Took this in the live session. This is the trade right here. But let's just go ahead and take a look at the trade. Will it pop up when I click here? No, it won't. So let's just go to the journal and take a look at the last trade that I took, right? Got in at 9:49 right before that 5-minute candle closed. But within the first 20 minutes of the session, and it was in this for a while, finally got out at 1:35 p.m. It did drag out for a while. It was a momentum breakout. So if we take a look here, it was a momentum breakout entry in line with the higher time frame trend. Price moved down over 1% overnight. So I was certainly bearish but cautious because it had moved down so much overnight. Had a much better limit order set, but was scared out of it on the new 15-minute candle. Ended up getting in on a breakout, which had a worse stop and had to be adjusted mid-trade. So this trade ended up, I was going for 1.5 to 1 eventually, was my plan, and I ended up 1.4. The worst entry also made the trade drag on for nearly 4 hours, where the limit entry would have been at a full 2 to 1 within the first hour. So the better entry would have certainly yielded better results, both dollars-wise, both psychologically. It's nice to be in and out of a trade in an hour for 2R than in it for 4 hours. It just is. I also ended up micromanaging the trade because it dragged on for so long, but it was a good trade that I need to find a way into every time and live with the results, right? And so let's go ahead and take a look. Again, I took this in the live session. We had a rather large move overnight that then went sideways down. We did gap down, then went sideways, and the market opened up, broke down, retested, and then broke down again. And on this breakdown, I wanted to get in short. I had a limit order originally up here at 41.74, just below this 2-minute candle. I was trying to risk this whole 2-minute candle plus up to here. But in this pullback here of this green and I think this doji candle, this is when the 15-minute candle closed. And so I moved my limit order up out of the way because of the volatility of the new 15-minute candle. So it would have filled me in, and then I could have gone short, but instead I got in on a breakout here, breaking below this low. So this was my entry here. The other entry would have been much better. And then this was my original entry into the trade, 2 to 1 with my stop here. But this was certainly not a good area for me to have my stop. I needed it to be above the pivot. And so when I moved it above the pivot, I did leave my target in the same place, but it ended up becoming a 1.5 to 1 trade instead of a 2 to 1 trade, because I ended up risking $300 instead of $250. So when I moved my stop, I ended up risking an extra $50. But that was okay. This trade with a stop without any sort of protection is a wasted trade. You're just throwing away money. So if I have to risk an extra $50, but put my stop in the correct place, I'm going to do that every time. Now, once I move it and it is in the correct place, that's it. If it broke that pivot and stopped me out, that would have been ball game, and I have to live with that. I don't keep moving my stop. I mean, I put my stop where it's supposed to be. It wasn't where it was supposed to be when I initially got into this trade, so I put it where it was supposed to be, adjusted my trade for the risk, and live with the results, right? And so it broke out and pushed a little bit, but did continue, pulled back, came back down. And again, I was in this trade forever, but you'll see here, this is where, right, I moved my stop. Instead of being down here without the pivot, I moved it up beyond the pivot, and then my trade here, change risk to reward, was 1.5 to 1. Getting out with 4 of the contracts and then leaving 1 runner, which I made an adjustment to price later on to make this target the full 2 to 1 target instead of that 2.2 there. But again, we were in this trade for quite a while. This is me with still 5 contracts on, because I ended up moving the 1 contract that I had down here for a runner up to 1 to 1 when this started to pull back. The internals were not necessarily in my favor. The advanced decline on the NYSE in this trade, for the majority of this trade, was trending upwards, not in my favor at all. And so I decided that I wanted to scale out some of this trade when it gave this pullback, if possible, just to reduce the risk in my trade. And when that happened, let's see if we got the next slide. So we were able to scale out of that 1 contract here. So this is, it dropped down, pulled back. I was able to scale out of 1 contract here. Then after that scale out and price broke down, came back to damn near stopping me out, break even, hung around up here. And when it hung around back here, I'd been in the trade for so long, this all happened in a live session. I changed, I still had 4 contracts left at this point here, and I moved 2 of the contracts back to 1 to 1. Because at this point, we were already after, it was already past noon. This could have been the low of the day, and so I was like, this could potentially be the low of the day. So if it pulls back to here and wants to retest, I'll scale out more of my trade. So now I was out 3 of my 5 contracts at 1 to 1, and then I let the next the last 2 contracts run at a full 2 to 1. So this was full 2 to 1 down here. So I was either going to get stopped out break even at this point or full 2 to 1. And we did run and hit full target eventually. I thought I had a screenshot for that, but apparently I don't. These are the internals. I got in here. This is the advanced decline. And you'll see that the advanced decline was going up when I needed it to be going down. It didn't start going down until after 1 o'clock, and this is when I got fully out of my trade. So even though we were above where I got in on the advanced decline, it finally started trending down in my favor. It continued down after that. So did the market. The market ran down much further after my exit there. But really, this was the only internal that essentially wasn't in my favor today, and really caused me to struggle in this trade and hold on to it for, or be in it as long as I was. Because if you see here the tick chart, I mean, it did have some spikes up, but this green line is the 0 line. And you can see that it spent the majority of time down here in negative territory below the 0 line. It did spike up at times, but it spent the majority of its time below 0 as a bearish sign. And so in my favor. If we look at the VIX, trending upwards, also in my favor. If you look at the dollar, trending upwards, also in my favor. And so, really, the advanced decline was the only thing that wasn't in my favor. And what was weird was at the same time that this was kind of trending upwards, at least in this first half of the morning here, the Nasdaq was trending down. Nasdaq didn't finally roll over and start to trend up until about this time here after like 11 in the morning. And so, anyways, it is kind of what it is. But I had my reasons to stay in the trade and wait so long to finally move my stop to break even, right? This was not in my favor, but the rest of the internals for the most part were in my favor. I mean, we got in down here on the VIX, right? We got in on this red dotted line on the VIX, and we want the VIX to be going up while I want to be short, and it trended up. I mean, it never broke the low of when I got in here at any point. And so VIX was in my favor. The dollar I got in, it should be a red dotted line just before here. I marked it, but apparently the screen moved over some when I took the screenshot. But I got in down here, dollar trended up. This is where I got out of the trade at 1:30 p.m. So the dollar was in my favor the whole morning. And so it just kind of is what it is. Can't expect price to just run continuously. And then these are the four major indexes here to the left. The ES, which I was in, this is when I got in. You'll see the candle that I got in on was red after this false breakout there, but then it continued down. And if you look at that same candle on the Russell, it was also red. But when you look at it here on the, where we at, and it was red here on the NQ. Look at it here on the Dow. I actually believe that it was here. But anyway, I was short. These markets were not helping me. The Russell wasn't helping me. It didn't finally help me. This candle is the 1 o'clock candle here that finally started to break down in my favor finally. And we took profit. That would be right around here in this 1:30 candle. And so anyway, like I stated before, it was a good trade. A well planned out trade. Not exactly the perfectly executed trade, but a trade that I have to take every time we get the setup. And so yeah, $411, 1.4R. We'll take it. Again, breaking a nice losing streak that I've had over the last 5 Mondays, so I can't complain about that. And that'll do it. Just a reminder, guys, we will not be on Wednesday. No pre-market analysis, no live trading session on Wednesday. We will not be here, none of us. But that being said, take care. We'll catch you guys tomorrow, 9 a.m. Trading Futures Live. Thanks again.